um, for us, we need to understand Pirkei Avos to be able to go forward. But it also, as many people, and it gets complicated. But let's put it just simply: many people think it's insufficient just to study Pirkei Avos, so that's why the Alter Rebbe put it in the Siddur. That way, the Siddur is there. You daven, you learn, but then you go on to your Torah studies, you go into Chassidus, etc. This is unclear. What is the connection between the teaching to who sit and the teaching pray for the welfare? For which reason both teachings were taught in the same Mishnah? There seems to be no connection between these teachings. On the contrary, logic dictates in this teaching this teach that that this teaching is connected with and should be juxtaposed to the next Mishnah. Rabbi Shimon says, three who ate and did not speak words of Torah, since this Mishnah also highlights the virtue of a group discussing words of Torah and shortcoming of a group that does not. So it will be further explained, but let me just clarify it. Two, as it said, it's simple. Two who sit and don't speak any words of Torah are it's considered like as they did absolutely nothing. And two who sit together and speak words of Torah, it's that the Shekhinah, the godly presence, is with them. Third part. The explanation is as follows. Tractate Avos consists of words of piety as discussed. This means that its directives are aimed at a Jew whose Torah study and practice of mitzvahs is faultless and executed carefully. All that such a person lacks is pious conduct. It is therefore obvious that there is no need to warn him not to rob another Jew, and certainly not to imperil his life. So it's clear why the Mishnah does not say a man would kill his friend or rob him. So pretty straightforward, but just to glimpse over, Pirkei Avos is written for people that already know the laws of the Torah, so you don't need to tell them again because it's already written in the Torah. Don't kill your friend. So in the Pirkei Avos, it's just saying it's saying directly but indirectly. The specific point being made is that a man would swallow his friend alive. He has no desire to threaten the life or property of another Jew. His desire is to merely swallow him alive, that the life, the existence, and the deeds of another person be swallowed within his own. So just subdue the person. In fact, sometimes the virtues he possesses, his perfection, his Torah study, and his scrupulous mitzvah observance, and by contrast, the many shortcomings he sees in his fellow Jew, especially if this fellow is simple and not a Torah scholar, or possibly is lacking in the careful observance of mitzvahs, lead him to the inescapable conclusion that the other person ought to be subservient to him. Moreover, he concludes that it would be a merit and a favor for the other person to become swallowed within his existence. So it's simply not, it doesn't mean like actually killing the other person. It simply means that essentially taking what the other person has and making them disappear in a sense. Do you have any questions so far? Okay. Okay, on to the fourth part. To dissuade a person of this attitude and approach, a logical explanation would not suffice. For in contrary, rigorous logic, as we're not speaking about a person who is a fool, wicked, and arrogant, God forbid, supports the legitimacy of a claim. Ultimately, the person has indeed achieved greatness in Torah study and mitzvah observance, while the friend remains far from this level. This assessment is accurate and reliable, since it is made using the litmus test of the Torah values and behavior, and especially when the other fellow relies on him as a source of Torah knowledge and guidance in his mitzvah observance. Therefore, even after hearing the whole argument why he ought to conduct himself differently, this is based only on reason, he cannot change his opinion that his friend should be subservient and swallowed. So this comes to say that it's being explained that two people are sitting together, but there's one that learns Torah daily and there's one that lacks knowledge in Torah. So this can be applied that the person that learns Torah wants to swallow the less learned, and that's why it's saying to swallow his friend alive, so to say. And it also says why two people that sit together and don't speak words of Torah are like they did nothing, essentially, because the person that knows isn't supplying what he's supposed to supply to the person that doesn't know. So it's literally is like he did nothing. He didn't fulfill his obligation. He denied a mitzvah, basically. The way he can thoroughly negate this conclusion himself is by fulfilling the guidance in this Mishnah. Pray for the welfare of the monarchy. Doing so will awaken the fear of Kings, the Holy One within him, and the experience of fear can stop him from lording himself over a fellow Jew. The explanation of this, our sages teach that the monarchy on earth reflects monarchy in heaven. This means, as known, that monarchy on earth descends through the continuum of creation from the heavenly monarchy. A mortal king is rooted in a celestial minister, and that the minister is rooted in a loftier level, so it goes higher and higher for the highest over the high weights, up to the monarchy of the King of Kings, the Holy One, God, obviously. From the above, it is understood that when the welfare of the monarchy is in an obviously stable state, the rulership of the monarchy on earth is robust, and the real reason and cause for the success is that the source of the monarchy on earth is revealed, namely the monarchy in heaven, Hashem's monarchy with great force. So now it's applying, as I said before, that it can be applied to the fear of like the government or the monarchy, as it says here, and also the fear of Hashem, Yiras Shamayim, fear of the heavens. Therefore, when a Jew's behavior emulates the words of piety, and consequently the Jew perceives the truth of every matter, then in his prayer for the welfare of the monarchy, he consents, and in fact, he can probably visualize the sovereignty of Hashem. Consequently, the fear of the King of Kings, the Holy One, is awakened within him through the monarchy on earth. This fear of Hashem itself subdues a person's feeling of superiority and curtails his grandstanding, since Hashem's monarchy is such that he is immutable and treats small and great alike. The greatest of the great is as utterly insignificant as the smallest of the smallest. So it was kind of circles, but just you fear Hashem, and you come and when you study Pirkei Avos, you start fearing Hashem, and you notice that basically nothing matters. That's how I took it away, but there can be different takes. Fifth part, pray for help. However, the evil inclination is a professional and leading a person astray. Therefore, it is insufficient for the person on his own to meditate upon the idea of the welfare of the monarchy, that the monarchy on earth reflects the monarchy in heaven, as discussed. For with the passage of time, this meditation may cease to have the desired effect, because of the tactics of evil inclination. In the end, the fear may become weakened and even become altogether neutralized. For this reason, the directive emphasized to pray for the welfare of the monarchy. He should not rely on meditating with his own abilities; rather, he must turn to prayer, beseeking Hashem to help him with his goodness and his kindness, his undeserved kindness, as sages teach. Were it not for the divine intervention, one would be powerless against evil inclination. In all the above, to the extent that through the monarchy on earth, he will recognize and sense the monarchy of Hashem. So it's the same thing. We need the sense of monarchy or government here to understand that Hashem rules over us. Part 6, the two together. On this basis, we can appreciate the next teaching of the Mishnah, two sit and no words of the Torah exchange between them. The ultimate proof that a person who is on the level of pious conduct, having studied Torah properly and performing mitzvahs scrupulously, have truly eliminated his feelings of superiority and haughtiness is certain when his Torah study is also carried out in a manner of two who sit. The explanation, the essential identity of a person who studies Torah, who is being addressed in Pirkei Avos, is clarified above. It's precisely his occupation with Torah study, which renders all other concerns secondary, as the passage says, "Let not the wise man boast of his wisdom, the strong man of his strength, the rich man of his riches, etc. But let him exalt in this, that he understands and knows me. Torah is constant and eternal, for it is our life and the strength of our days. This idea is likewise expressed by our sages. I will set aside all worldly trades, and I will teach my son only Torah in his youth, in his old age, etc." Since Torah is the real essence of a person occupied in its study, the bittul is like your ego, I guess I think it would be considered your ego. The bittul of his essence, yeah, the ego of his essence, and being will be measured by the degree of the bittul he feels while he is learning Torah. So once you learn Torah, basically your ego goes down, and yeah. This is the point of two who sit. As long as the one learning senses that he is the one who sits and studies Torah, he is a scholar busy innovating Torah insights, then the study does not conform with the style of two who sit. Not as two people who study while sitting in inequality on level seating, since he considers himself to be a Rosh Yeshiva. A Rosh Yeshiva is like a guy in charge of the yeshiva, and the other as one who sits before him as a pupil, obviously a pupil. Only when a person is truly in a state of bittul and is learning will a friend with a friend be like two who sit as one without one learner feeling superiority over the other. Then the divine presence, the manifestation of Hashem's monarchy rests there. As is known, when a Jew brings himself into this level of bittul by praying for the welfare of the monarchy, as discussed, the level of two who sit, divine presence rests. Hashem's monarchy, the heavenly monarchy, is revealed as it truly is, not just as it is enclosed in the monarchy of the earth. In turn, this leads to a person reaching the consummate level of fear and bittul to divinity, the way it is from Hashem's perspective. So only after much studying, after you two sit together, and so let's say I'm learning with you, I'm sitting with you, and I'm teaching you. So in that sense, I'm gonna feel in this example, I'm gonna feel like I'm the Rosh Hashiva, like I'm the head of the heads, like you need to respect me, and you're just gonna feel like, oh, I'm a student, I need to listen. But the Rebbe is saying that only after much studying is done and the person that studies a lot has to come to realize that we're both equals, and in that sense we learn together. I learn, you learn, we both learn, and in that sense, when that happens, the Shekhinah, the divine presence, the godly presence, is with us. Part 7, two together. In the light of all the above, we can appreciate the wording and its order. The verse cited in the Mishnah that then the God-fearing people who spoke to one another. Hashem listened and heard, and a scroll of remembrance was written at his command concerning those who fear God and meditate on his name. For if we are discussing two who sit in exchange with the Torah, then why would it refer to them as God-fearing people? And why is it relevant to refer to them here using the term? The answer, the fact that they exchange with the Torah leads to the divine presence resting among them, because their way of speaking to one another is a manner of God-fearing people. They have an open, visible, and palpable fear of King of Kings, the Holy One, due to them praying for the welfare of the monarch. And so their speaking in Torah is due to their status as God-fearing people who spoke to one another. Such God-fearing people represent an antith- an- represent the antithesis of someone who would swallow his friend alive. Therefore, their Torah study leads them to meditate on his name, including the recognition also that the entire Torah consists the names of Hashem. That concludes the Sikha for this, the second Sikha for this week. Summary, just quick summary. Um, Pray for the peace of the monarchy, so it can be taken multiple ways. If we don't fear the government, we would kill each other, so to say. If we don't fear the heavens, then we wouldn't be afraid to sin. We would be afraid of being separated from God. We need the fear of the government to understand what it should be like to fear God, to not as just as you don't want to break the law, you don't want to break Hashem's laws. Two who sit together to learn Torah, who learn Torah and who have reached the level of feeling Hashem and not understanding Hashem, but level of knowledge, of comprehension, that we all are equals and we all know nothing, essentially. Then we'll come, and when two people sit together and learn together, not like a Rosh Hashiva and a Talmud, the student, that is truly when the Shekhinah, the godly presence, is upon us, and we all need to meditate. Not just meditate, we need to meditate and pray and contemplate on what Hashem does, what He is, and everything He does for us. Do you have any questions? Go ahead. Yeah. Hold on.
Is it possible that you could send that to
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I can, yeah, sorry, I should have sent it to you before. I'll send it to you like every week before.
Okay, great.
Uh,
Okay. Well, this was good. Thank you.
do you have any other questions?
No, I like to ask, and if I have questions, I'll shoot you an email.
Yep.
But I like to
Yeah.
always help you.
Yeah, it's one thing listening like with explanations, but like I personally also like to read along and understand like what you're reading. Yeah.
Well, so this link we can use
Yep.
for you. Okay, good. Okay, great.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Have a great night. See ya. Bye.